Hello everyone, this is Shiv Prem, a legal intern at Lexis and Company, currently pursuing BLLB honors from Central University of South Bihar. Today in this video, I am going to explain the grounds of a valid marriage. Section 5 of Hindu Marriage Act 1955 states the conditions for a valid marriage. Valid Hindu marriage. Parties to be Hindus under Section 2 Clause 3 of Hindu Marriage Act. According to this section, both the parties to the marriage under the Act must be Hindus. If one of them is a Hindu and other one is a non-Hindu or both are non-Hindus, the marriage will not be a subject matter of this Act. Yeah, but will relate to some other law, that is Special Marriage Act and others. There are certain essential conditions for a valid marriage such as follows: monogamy, soundness of mind, age of marriage, beyond prohibited degree of relationship, and beyond subpoena relationship. Now, let us discuss each and every one, each point with. Now, the first point is monogamy. The first condition provides that neither party have a spouse living at the time of marriage. This condition implies monogamy and prohibits bigamy or polygamy. The expression neither party have a spouse living depicts that the spouse must not be alive at the time of marriage. If the spouse is alive at the time of marriage, that could be bar the remarriage. The second point is soundness of mind. At the time of marriage, neither party is incapable of giving a valid consent to it in consequences of unsoundness of mind, or though capable of giving a valid consent has been suffering from mental disorder of such a kind or to such an extent as to unfit the marriage and procreation of children, or has been a subject recurrent attacks of insanity or epilepsy. As regards the second condition, it is necessary that the parties to the marriage are of sound mind and are not of suffering from any medical disability so as to be unfit for giving a valid consent, and therefore it is laid down in the section 5 clause 2 of the act that neither party at the time of marriage is incapable of giving a valid consent to it in consequence of unsoundness of mind, or has been suffering from mental disorder of such a kind or to such an extent as to be unfit for marriage and for the procreation of children, or neither party has been subjected to recurrent attacks of insanity. Now, the third point comes as the age of marriage. The third condition is that the bridegroom has completed the age of 21 and the bride is the age of 18 years at the time of marriage. Under this condition, the minimum age for marriage is fixed. Originally, according to Hindu Marriage Act 1955, the age provided for the bridegroom was 18 years and for the bride was 15 years. Though, where the bride was below 18, the consent of her guardian was necessary under clause 6 of the section. The Child Marriage Restraint Amendment Act 1978 has raised the minimum age fixed to marriage to 21 years in case of bridegroom and 18 years in the case of bride. Now, the fourth point comes as the beyond prohibited degree of relationship. The fourth condition lays down the degree of prohibited relationship unless the custom or uses governing each of them permits a marriage between the two. The relationship, the parties to the marriage must not fall within the degree of prohibited relationship. This relationship is defined under section 3 clause D of the Act. According to section 3 clause D, degree of prohibited relationship means when the two persons are related to each other in any of the following matter: by lineal assent or by affinity. Now, the term lineal assent. It, it means if one is a linear ascendant of the other, the relationship over the Sapinda relationship, which extends up to the fifth degree of the line of the father and the third degree in the line of the mother. The distinction of this category is that it extends even beyond Sapinda ascent. And by affinity, if one is the husband or wife of the lineal ascendants or descendants of the other, for example, father-in-law and daughter-in-law, mother-in-law and son-in-law, stepmother and stepson, or stepfather or stepdaughter, are thus within the degrees. Now the fifth point is the rule beyond the Sapinda relationship. The fifth condition is that the parties are not beyond the Sapinda of each other. According to the Dharma Shastra, the Sapinda relationship is very important in the matter of marriage. According to Mitaksha law of marriage, Pinda means the body, and therefore those who are related by the body or blood or consanguinity are Sapindas among themselves. Now, here the rule of Sapindas come as the relationship extends as far as the third generation in the line of ascent through the mother case in the case of both the parties. Mother in the case of both the parties. The relationship extends as far as the fifth generation in the line of ascent through the father in the case of both the parties. Sapinda relationship may submit in case of both the parties through the father or in case of both through the mother, or it may subsist in the case of one of them through father and on the case of the other through the mother. The line is traced upwards in case of both the parties, counting each of them as the first generation, the generation in the line of ascent, whether 3 or 5 are to be counted, inclusive of the person concerned and common ancestor and or ancestress. Now, this article discusses about the forms of marriage and the grounds of marriage, which I have discussed in the two parts. As we know that marriage is an important part of our life, which is also considered as a sacrament. According to Manu, husband and wife are united to each other, not merely in this life, but even after death. In the other world, the rule is that once is a maiden given in marriage, a true wife must preserve her chastity as much after as before the husband's death. The eight forms of marriage as prescribed in the Dharma text like Manusmriti were created according to the caste of the people. The approved forms of marriage were mostly practiced by Brahmins. The unapproved were usually practiced by Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Sudra. Some of these forms have been accepted as customs under the Hindu Marriage Act 1956, whereas others have become punishable offence under various penal laws in India. There are certain grounds of valid marriage under Section 5 of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955. If someone violates it, then it amounts to a void marriage or a voidable marriage. That's all from my side. Please do like the video and don't forget to subscribe the channel for further videos and updates. Thank you.